Yeah, the American dream was that you could say what you wanted. You had freedom of expression and lifestyle. If you worked hard and played by the so-called rules, then you prospered and you were secure. Tell that to somebody who's living in Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Baltimore, Washington, Memphis, Minneapolis. If you go into those cities, there's carjackings, there's mass looting, there's theft, there's human excrement on the sidewalk. You fill up your tank in California, it's $5.50 a gallon. You go in to buy something to wire your house, it's $120 for a roll of wire that used to cost $30. Bidenomics really did a lot because suddenly we went from a 30-year mortgage of 1.9 to 7 plus, and on the basket of essentials for life, food, gas, energy, housing, we're up to about 25% more than when Biden took office. So what he does is he just pathologically lies. He just says, well, inflation's 2% from last month or from me. No, it's from when you started. And then he says, well, I brought more jobs. No, you started when there was the COVID lockdown and people had been laid off in the millions, and it just was a natural rebound. And you made it worse by engineering the economy when you had, pent-up demand, and we had the supply chain, and you poured money onto that and gave more purchasing power to people who already had it, and you ruined the currency. So when you look at energy, check, bad. You look at housing, interest rates, check, bad. You look at inflation, check, bad. You look at crime, check, bad. You look at the border, check, bad. And that causes a general feeling of malaise and depression. The most common thing that I hear if I'm going somewhere and somebody wants to talk, they say, what happened to the country? What the hell happened to the country? When did Americans say that you could go into an Apple store and just steal and you would be exempt? When did Americans say that people could come from the Middle East and disrupt Thanksgiving or tear down flags on Veterans Day or try to disrupt Black Friday shopping or take over bridges or scout out and harass and try to harm Jewish students at our universities? Weren't they guests? Aren't we their host? Is that how they reciprocate our magnanimity? So there's a lot of things that bother them. And they look at overseas and they're tired of wars and they don't want optional engagements. But on the other hand, if you have the largest concentration of military force in recent memory off the coast of Lebanon, or the Eastern Mediterranean in general, and every single day an appendage of Iran is attacking and trying to kill Americans, and your president either does not react or does small reactions that are proportionate, and they're only encouraging it. So they get depressed and they say to themselves, what did the leftists do with the power we gave them? And they flooded us with immigrants who don't like us, and they allowed crime to escalate to out of control proportions, and they hurt us economically, and they humiliated us abroad, whether in Afghanistan or other places, Chinese balloon, China, etc. And they're angry about it. So they're starting to say, these people did this to us, and they're shielded from the consequences of their ideology because they're all wealthy. In the United States, they're a bi-coastal elite. They count on their influence and their money and their networking to shield them from the crime they created, from the costly inflation they created, from the housing crisis they created. So people are getting really angry at them, and they lash out. And that doesn't help when the academic world and the media world calls them dregs and clingers and deplorables and irredeemables, chumps, semi-fascist. When you have Joe Biden saying, it's Thanksgiving, we're the greatest nation in the world, we've got to unite, man. While he sends out a little manifesto to how to talk to your ultra MAGA people at Thanksgiving, which is just a litany of lies and disparagements.